Peace. Is obey God one thing and obey the messenger something else? 592. And obey God and obey the messenger. And beware, but if you turn away, then know that clearly communicating is only on the messenger. The messenger only has to clearly communicate. So, when you see the angels, they go to Abraham, communicate to Abraham the messages of God, then they leave him. Then they go to Lot, they communicate the messages to Lot and do whatever they do, and they leave. Same thing with Mary and Zechariah. They go to them, give them the messages, then leave. Solomon and the queen. The queen sends a messenger to Solomon, and that messenger will come back with Solomon's response. 4:150. Those who reject in God and its messengers and want to make a difference or differentiate between God and its messengers. So we are told not to make a difference between God and the messengers, because the messengers are coming with God's proof. They are speaking on God's behalf. So as a messenger, they only give you the messages of God. 3:31. Say, if you love God, then follow me. He's the only one that is receiving the message first, and then he has to disseminate the message to the people. So if you love God, then follow the messenger. Now, nowhere does it say, if you love God and the messenger, then follow me. Because since we reject the hadith, the collections of hadith, and we just stick to what God says in the reading, aka the Quran, people will say you don't love the messenger. You don't have love for the messenger. Loving a messenger has nothing to do with the message that he is bringing. If there is a spot where it says to love the messenger, let me know. All I know is in 3:119, it states, here you are, those who love them, but they don't love you. And also it states, you can't guide those you love. But here, if you love God, then follow me. Because they had to go get the message from the messenger, or the messenger will go to them and give them the message. 4:11 and 12 is God giving them the rulings or inheritance. Then in 4:13 it states, those are the limits of God, and whoever obeys God and its messenger. Whoever obeys God and its messenger. So where is the messenger's laws of inheritance? That will be different from God's laws of inheritance, or that is adding to God's laws of inheritance. Since the messenger says, when they told him, bring us a Quran other than this or change it, say, it is not for me to change it. I only follow what is instructed to me. I fear if I disobey my Lord the punishment of a great day. So he can't add, subtract, or modify what is being instructed to him. Can't do it. So he can't add any laws of inheritance. That's why it is the limits of God. These are God's laws and the limits of it. The messenger do what it says. For example, the so-called wudu. The word wudu is not in the reading nowhere. If you could point it out to me, let me know. But it's not there. So you're telling me that the messenger of God changed wiping the feet into washing the feet, and then added doing it 2 or 3 times. Added rinsing out the mouth, cleaning out the nose, wiping the ears, and all this stuff, when he can't change it of his own accord. And there was no command in the reading for the messenger to do that. This stuff is coming from these hadith, which the messenger has nothing to do with those hadith. Okay. For 100. Whoever immigrates for God's cause will find much refuge and abundance. And whoever leaves his or her home immigrating to God and his messenger. So, if they're immigrating to God and the messenger, is this 2 different kinds of immigrations? We need to know. How do they immigrate to God, and how do they immigrate to the messenger? Because it's for the cause of God, and the messenger has the proofs of God. They're immigrating to the messenger because they can't see God. They don't know. They can't see God. They're not interacting with God. So how do they immigrate to God? They immigrate to God by going to the messenger, because the messenger has God's messages. Um, 8:24. O you who trust, respond to God and the messenger when you are called to what gives you life. What is giving them life? The messages of God. Are they responding are they responding to God and then responding another way to the messenger? Or is it just one response? Here we go again. 9:3. The announcement from God and his messenger to the people on the day of the greater pilgrimage. Is this 2 different announcements? I'm just giving a few examples. Is this 2 different announcements that God announced something and then the messenger announced something else? My pen, okay. 49:1. You who trust, don't put yourself first before God and his messenger. Are they putting themselves first before God in this way and then doing it a different way when it comes to the messenger? Or does that mean don't put yourself before the proofs of God, the messages of God, since the messenger has the messages of God? 58:5. Those who oppose God and his messenger. Is it 2 oppositions? Are they opposing God one way, and then when it comes to the messenger, they're opposing the messenger a different way? Or is it that by them opposing the messenger, they are automatically opposing God? As it states, it is not you who they are denying, it is the proofs of God that they are rejecting. So those are the proofs. Those are a few proofs from the reading, from the Quran, aka the Quran, that proves that to obey the messenger is obeying God. As it states, if you obey the messenger, you have obeyed God. The messenger is the only one around them with the message. The only one. They can say you're lying. They don't see God. God's not talking to them, anything like that. So they can say, oh no, you lying. You're making this up. He's the only one with this message. That's why it says obey God and obey the messenger, because the messenger has the message. Also, as Hamza Abdul Malik pointed out and presented, that the messenger, Muhammad, if he don't obey Gabriel, he's not obeying God and obeying the messenger. He has to obey Gabriel the messenger. He has to. If he fears a punishment, if he disobeys his Lord, he has to obey this messenger who was called Gabriel. If he don't obey Gabriel, he is disobeying God. So, obeying God and obeying the messenger is one and the same. And if you want to make that difference between God and the messenger, then you become one of those people as in 4150. They want to make a difference, a distinction between God and its messengers. That is what's being done, and that is what the masses is being taught. And this is what they think and feel. But this is not what it's supposed to be. You can't differentiate from them. You can't say God said this here and Muhammad said this, and what Muhammad said overrides what God says. Or what the messenger says overrides what God says. Like, for example, that so-called wudu. What's in the reading is good, but what's in the hadith is better. It's better. My own viewpoint, I don't think Muhammad met those people in the hadith. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Because if they're so important figures, why ain't they mentioned in the reading? The only one mentioned in the reading is his adopted son, Zayd. He's mentioned by name. No one else is mentioned by name in the reading. If all these people was around him, watching him go out to the bathroom and trees surround him while he's peeing, he's eating with his right hand, he's sitting down when he's peeing, he's doing this, he's doing that. How are they around for all this? When they can't even be around when it says to them, come to the prophet's house when the food is ready. Don't come before then. And when you finish eating, leave. Don't stick around for information, for hadith. It annoys him. If that annoys the messenger, how are these people around him 24/7 knowing everything he's doing and saying? How is all these hadiths that's saying this stuff? He don't even want them around them after they finish eating at his house. How can, when it says make it lawful for them and sanction it, make it haram for them, only doing that with the reading? In his personal life, he can't do that. Because it states, O prophet, not messenger, O prophet. And when he's the messenger, he is following the message. But as a prophet, he's able to make mistakes. That's why it says, O prophet. Why do you sanction? Why do you sanction haram? Why do you make haram? Why do you sanction what I made allowable for you to please your spouse? So if he can't do that, how is he doing all this stuff in these hadith? Peace.